So this is a bit of a special episode of Testing Your Tactics. It's our first episode where a user submitted their own tactics for me to test. It's from Alexander or at Pappy_Might on Twitter. Is it going to be worth your time downloading? Let's find out. Now, if you do want to submit your own tactic for me to test, let me know down below what they are. Also, if you haven't already, hit the like button and subscribe. I'm looking to get towards 400 subscribers by the end of January. If you do anything, just drop a subscribe. That would be muchly appreciated. But anyway, let's get into the tactic. As always, we've got 3 tests to do. We're going to be going on holiday for the whole season with no manager badges or past experience. The transfer window is going to be closed as well. Let's get into our test. So a quick overview of Alexander's tactic. It is a positive 4-2-2 DM attacking midfield narrow formation, custom tactical style. Mentality is positive. Now in possession, fairly wide attacking width with overlapping down the right and the left, focusing down the right and left and playing out of defence as well. Shorter passing directness with a slightly higher tempo. Low crosses in the final third but work ball into the box as well. In the transition, nothing has been selected for possession being lost or possession being won. Distribute to centre backs and take short kicks as well. Then out of possession, a high line of engagement with a high defensive line, slightly more trigger press, but a trap inside option as well. So when it comes to the formation and the tactics, sweeper keeper on defend. Any instructions? It's just shorter passing directness. 2 fullbacks on support on either flanks. Now these instructions are the same for both. Trigger press is balanced, get further forward with shorter passing as well. That is for right and left hand fullback on support. Centre defender on defend, same instructions for these two. Balanced trigger press with a shorter passing as well, everything else on default. Defensive midfielder on defend, instructions are trigger press is balanced and shorter passing. Everything else is default for this one. Ball winning midfielder, exactly the same as well. Balanced and the shorter passing with the default settings as well. Now we've got an advanced playmaker on support on the left hand side cam and an advanced midfielder on attack on a right hand side cam. So for the advanced playmaker, balanced trigger press, mark specific position. Now this is different. This is to mark the midfielder right position, shorter passing and everything else as a default there. And then with the attacking midfielder on attack, the instructions are specific position marking of midfield left, balanced trigger press, get further forward with this one however with a shorter passing, and lastly a false 9 on support on the right hand side of the front 2, balanced trigger press, stay wider as well with a shorter passing, the default for everything else, and then lastly advance forward, balanced trigger press and shorter passing as well. Now, Alexander did mention that it's kind of an Aston Villa style of tactic, which me being a Birmingham City fan, yeah, begrudges me this one, but I'm very grateful for Alexander for submitting this to me. So let's get into the tests. Now, my first test is going to be with Atletico Bilbao. Media prediction of 7th in the La Liga. Can we do any better? Let's find out. Now, our media prediction was 7th, and we have finished 7th with Atletico Bilbao. 17 wins, 5 draws, and 16 losses, plus 1 goal difference, and 56 points on the board. Now, it's quite interesting to see that Sevilla, just above us, had 58 points. Celta Vigo in 5th had 59 points, and Real Sociedad, or Real San Sebastian, had 60 points in 4th. So if results had gone our way, we probably could have been into Champions League spaces here. However, let's have a look at how we got on. So in the goals, none of our players are in the top 3 goal scorers in La Liga. Average rating, none of our players are in the top 3 there. However, in assists, Iker Munian is kind of joint first with 11 assists across the season. Now let's have a look at the team stats and how we got on. So most goals for Bilbao, we're actually 4th in the league here, 60 goals for, only 2 from corner zone. If you have a look at Real Madrid, who scored 104 goals, 14 came from corners there. Most shots for, we're not on this list. Fewest shots against, we're not on this list either. Best pass completion, a lot of passing here. So 7th place with 89% pass completion. with 58% average possession across the season. Very nice to see a tactic where the pass completion and the possession are kind of aligned there. Most tackles won, we're not involved. Most dribbles made, we're not involved. Most clean sheets and fewest conceded, we're not involved there. Maybe it's to do with the high defensive line and the trap inside, but let's have a look at how we got on with the pass positions now. A good start to the season. Looks like we got a couple of wins here against Bilbao. We are Bilbao, Almeria, and Port Girona. However, then dropped down to a low of 9th place, but then came up again and looked like we're sitting in 4th place for a fair bit of the season. Down into 5th for the last couple of the games, but then looks like we probably lost 2 games in a row, or just 1 game, I suppose, to get down into 7th place there. In the competition screen as well, we're knocked out in the first round to Albacete in the Spanish Cup. Let's have a look at our kind of schedule and see how we performed in the league. So, good couple of wins, as we mentioned, against Almeria and Girona. But then Real Betis and Real Madrid beat us. But then a 6-1 victory over Villarreal, which is very nice to see. A 2-2 draw with Barcelona. Can't be sniffed at either. But it just looks like there's too many losses in this. And yeah, they're not even quite close. It's a couple of 2-0s, 3-0s. And then a poor run of form from kind of March into April, which probably has affected us. But as we can see, we lost to Las Palmas 3-1 on the last game of the season, which is probably why we've dropped from 5th down into 7th. But if we have a look at the squad and how they kind of performed with this tactic, Inaki Williams, 13 goals and 6 assists. Sunset with 9 goals and 5 assists. Raul Garcia with 9 and 9. And Ike Munian with 8 goals and 11 assists. So maybe with the tactic, yeah, it's probably not as attacking as we'd like to see, and it kind of leaves us exposed in the defence, especially with the fullbacks on support. I wonder if they went on to defend, whether it would kind of shore us up at the back just a little bit. And I suppose 2 centre defenders on defend. Maybe if we change one of these up to kind of a on cover or on stop, maybe it could kind of help us out the back. Maybe sweeper keeper as well, dropping that down to goalkeeper on defend may allow us a few more, well, save us a few more goals from being conceded. But anyway, let's get on to the second test and I'll see you there. Now, as much as it begrudges me to do so, the next test is going to be with Aston Villa. Media prediction of 9th. Can we go one further? Let's find out. And again, we've finished in our media prediction of 9th place with Aston Villa. 15 wins, 11 draws and 12 losses in this one. Now obviously there's 4 games more in the Premier League as opposed to the Spanish League, and we've kind of drawn a few more games as well and lost less, so obviously a better team with Aston Villa to see how this tactic has gone. A +3 goal difference and 56 points on the board as well. So if we have a look here, so none of our players are in the top 3 goal scorers, nor in the average rating or in assists either. However, player of the matches, Nicolo Zaniolo has 2nd, or I suppose 7 player of the matches, letting him finish in 2nd place in the league there. So if we have a look at the other stats and how we have got on with Aston Villa, so we finished 9th, but we scored the 6th most amount of goals in the league, 67, and 6 coming from corners as well. Most shots for, we're not involved in this list, and few shots against, we're not involved in this list either. Can we match what we did with Bilbao with the pass completion and possession? We can. 89% pass possession, pass completion should say, and 57% most possession as well. So as we can see from this tactic, a lot of possession base, a lot of passing as well, but maybe just defensively letting us down just a little bit there. Most dribbles made and tackles won, we're not involved there. Most clean sheets and fewest conceded, we're not on this list either. So as you can see, we're probably dominating in the middle of the park, but just not doing it at the back as well. So looking at our pass positions for Aston Villa. Now saying that, we started very well, topping the Premier League for a lot of the season. Well, a lot of the first half of the season as well. However, we then dropped down into 7th place. And then by the midway mark, we were in 8th place as well. So 7th place, I should say. Dropped down to 8th. And then eventually, kind of the end of the season, yeah, we kind of finished around about the 9th place, but that may be because we was in another European competition, and that was Europa Conference League, and we were knocked out in the quarter-final to Eintracht Frankfurt, who lost to SK Rapid And it looks like it's Fiorentina versus SK Rapid or Sport Club Rapid. So an interesting kind of finalist to see SK Rapid there. Well, they're looking at this. Moussa Diaby topped the Europa Conference League top goal scorer charts with 10. So very nice to see there. In the English FA Cup, we finished in the 5th round to Bournemouth. And in the Carabao Cup, we were knocked out in the 4th round to Arsenal. So again, if you have a look at our schedule in the Premier League, let's see kind of how we did perform. Now, we know we had a great start to the season. 4-1 victory against Luton, 4-1 against Fulham, 4-2 against Sheffield United, 5-2 against Bournemouth. So we seem to be scoring some goals here, as we see, but we do concede a lot as well. So it's kind of a 4-2 loss there to Manchester United, 2-0 to Chelsea, 7-0 to Manchester City. That's a bit of a drubbing. Grealish getting on the scorecard against his former club as well, and then a 6-1 loss to Nottingham Forest. So this has kind of affected us here, kind of the last run of 8 games or so from March up until obviously we won against Wolves in the last game of the season. Now, how would that affected our points? I mean, we're 11 points away from 6th place Chelsea, who, you know, they lost kind of similar types of games to us, but they won more and they drew less as well. So that's probably why that's affecting us there. And looking at our squad as well, so Moussa Diaby with 21 goals and 6 assists across the season. Zaniolo with 15 goals and 10 assists. Ollie Watkins, 14 goals and 1 assist. And Douglas Luiz with 12 goals and 15 assists, with Jacob Ramsey and Yuri Tielemans both getting 9 goals as well. So a lot of goals has been spread across here. And as we can see, it's clearly the defensiveness of this tactic which is letting it down a little bit. And as I mentioned obviously before, maybe changing the fullbacks to be on defend, changing one of your centre defenders over to a stopper, and then shaking off the sweeper keeper tactic as well for your goalkeeper. But anyway, on to our last test. We're going to go to Germany for this one, and I'll see you there. And with our final test, Werder Bremen, a media prediction of 16th. Can we do any better? Let's find out. Now, we have beaten our media prediction of 16th. We've finished in 13th place with Werder Bremen. 34 games played, although 8 wins, 8 draws and 18 losses, a minus 26 goal difference and only 32 points on the board. Yeah, I think the defensive capabilities of this tactic lets it down just a little bit. But in the goals, we're not involved in the top 3 goals for the season, average rating or assists either. Let's have a look at how the team performed against everyone else. But obviously, media prediction was 16th, so I'm not expecting us to be in the kind of the top 8 for any of these. So most goals for, not involved there. Most shots for, fused against, not involved. Pass completion, not there, but possession we are 56% average. So even with kind of the lower league teams or lower table teams, possession wise is there. So if you want a good possession formation, it is one to build around. Most tackles won, we're not involved there, but most dribbles made. The first time we made it onto this list, Bremen with 465 across the season in 8th place. Most clean sheets and fewest conceded, we're not involved there. But let's see how we got on with the pass positions. So Werder Bremen, it's a bit of a grim read in there. Trying to see if we can get it in a different way. Let me just move myself out of the way. So we did kind of had a rough start to the season, but we were predicted to finish in kind of 16th place anyway. It was bottom all the way to game week 13, when we then started to rise up and eventually kind of petered out into 13th place. So kind of an interesting one to see there. Now, if we have a look at the other competitions, we were knocked out in the first round to SSV Jan Regensburg. Yeah, probably butchered that pronunciation, so apologies for any German watchers there. Now, looking at the schedule and how we kind of got on in the Bundesliga, we saw we had a pretty torrid time to start. Lost 4-0 to Bayern. I mean, playing Bayern Munich at the start of the season isn't what you want to see. But we didn't really pick up our first win until we beat Union Berlin 4-1 on game week. Is that 9? Game week 9. And then we went another 4 games without winning a game. So yeah, not that many victories here. I mean, we lost 8-1 to Leipzig. 5-2 to Hoffenheim. I mean 5-4 to Wolfsburg, but then a 5-1 to Dortmund. A lot of goals have kind of been shipped in with this tactic here. And then if we kind of finally look at the goal scorers, so Rafael Santos Borre, 12 goals and 5 assists, but then it came down to Bittencourt with 8 goals and 4, Marvin Duksch with 7 and 6, and then Romano Schmid with 4 and 4. So I think kind of, yeah, the defensive capabilities of this tactic isn't kind of working. Possession based and the attacking, yeah, there's some goals coming in here, a lot of possession and good pass completion as well. Now my honest thoughts on this tactic: it needs work in defence. We're shipping way too many goals. I mean, we've met our media prediction for Bilbao and for Aston Villa, and obviously for Werder Bremen we beat it by three places, but a lot of goals have been shipped in this. So yeah, maybe changing the fullbacks onto kind of support, or even just no nonsense fullbacks on defend. Change the sweeper keeper to defensive goalkeeper positioning, and maybe change one of your centre defenders to cover or to be a stopper as well, just to kind of change it up just a little bit. Now if you found this video useful, please let me know down below if you have a tactic that you want me to test for you. Hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you for another episode of Testing Your Tactics. Goodbye.